Hello, welcome to another exciting edition of the program Agric today on ARCN Television, Abuja, Nigeria. I am your host, Khadija Uluwatoyin. On today's episode of the program, we'll be taking a look at the importance of insurance when it comes to agriculture. And of course, we're here to speak with an expert here from one of the most leading insurance companies in Nigeria to talk to us on the importance, benefits of a farmer ensuring that all their yields are being insured. Let's go and see our guest for today. Stay tuned.
My name is Mr. Fatan Ayola Paul. I am the Regional Technical Director, Agric and Microinsurance Specialist for Leadway Assurance Company Limited.
Okay, sir. Like I told you, this episode of the program is to actually bring to the know of farmers why ensuring their hemp products is actually important. So tell us, what is agric insurance to start with?
Well, agric insurance is simply put is a financial instrument that is used to hedge risks in agriculture across the entire agricultural value chain. So what I mean here is that we all know how risky agriculture is, especially when you are in the production value chain. And because of these risks, investors and farmers suffer losses that are beyond their control. For instance, last year there was large amount of flooding all over the country. Poultry farmers experienced outbreak of diseases like the dreaded influenza. Piggery farmers, African swine fever, and so on and so forth. And when these losses occur, or when there is this outbreak, farmers suffer their loss of investment. So for farmers that have an insurance policy, agric insurance policy that covers this farm, they were able to recover the losses from the insurance company they insure their production with. So far. It's not even only that. If you are in other aspect of the value chain, in transit, you're in warehousing, you are into processing. There are various kinds of risks that can affect those value chains too, that will make you suffer financial losses. Insurance policies, agri-insurance policies, helps you to recover your investment when some of these losses occur, especially the ones that are beyond your control. And in this case of global warming and climate change, we all know how erratic the weather patterns have been, and it has been negatively affecting farmers. These days you can't even predict the volume of rainfall you're going to get in a year. You can't predict whether there will be prolonged dry spells. So and when they happen, they are beyond your control. So that is why agricultural insurance is important for people that are along that value chain.
Okay, so what are the different types of insurance covered?
Yeah. For all categories, like I said, irrespective of the chain you are playing into, there are various kind of agric insurance policies that take care of it. But the most popular one are the ones that have to do with production. If you're a poultry farmer, we have a policy for poultry farmers. For people that are in poultry. If you are into piggery, we have. If you are into cattle, we have. If you are into the rearing of small ruminants, we have. If you are into all categories of crop, we have either cash crops or food crops, we have insurance policies for them that will assist you in hedging against the risks that will occur where we are into production. And if you are equally into warehousing, maybe all you do is to buy grains and store and sell at a particular period in time. There is equally a policy for that. Even if you are in the process of where or transit, maybe what you do is that you move those produce from one location to the other. There is equally a policy for it. If you are into snailry or any form of production at all in agriculture, you have those policies. So you have various categories of those policies, irrespective of the value chain that you are playing in.
Okay, so we've read about that. Maybe you give us one or two, the times in mentioning of their names. But then, what's the benefits?
The benefits are pretty simple. You recover losses. Let me just give you an hypothetical example. If you, madam, have invested about 10 million naira in a poultry farm, maybe you hypothetically, I'm not saying it is exact, you buy 2,000 day-old chicks to be reared for egg production. Egg is the gold mine from the chicken. And it's 2,000. And at the point of lay, maybe that is when you will have expected the highest amount of input cost. The birds are costed at 1,500, 1,500, 1,800 per bed, multiplied by 2,000. Let's assume that the entire investment is 10 million naira on that particular farm. Then unfortunately, you have an outbreak of avian influenza, and the birds die. When avian influenza hits, the farm experiences a shutdown. It's closed. There is not even farms that are about 3 kilometer radius away from where there's an outbreak are equally shut down. You go ahead and you lose your entire loss of investment, close to 10 million. If you have a poultry policy, for instance, the poultry policy will compensate you for the 10 million naira that you have lost. I will give you an example. In the case of Leadway, there was a very big commercial farm that suffered the loss to influenza last year. They lost, 2 years ago, they lost over 400,000 breeder birds. And Leadway, as a company, paid 1.7 billion naira to that commercial farm. So that is also, imagine if that particular farmer had not insured. That simply means 1.7 billion naira worth of investment would have been lost. And that would have been massive. That's one. Then another advantage here is that when you have insurance, you are more comfortable. You go to sleep. You know that you have a policy that is hedging against anything that can happen. You become more comfortable. I've seen a farmer that suffered a stroke because of the fact that the birds died. And there was no area of mode of recovery because his entire livelihood was dependent on it. So with that insurance, you have that peace of mind that, of course, you have an insurance company backing you because of that particular loss that you have suffered. Then number 3 too, if you are looking for funds to expand or to even start up a farm, most of the financial institutions or financiers or sponsors will specifically request that you get an insurance policy, because they know that if you have an insurance policy, you are covered, and you are equally, in a way, their own investment in you too is equally being protected, so that you'll be able to repay the loan or the facility you get from them. So, and there are so many. And another thing with buying agricultural insurance policies is that if you buy from insurance companies equally give you what you call, Leadway does that all the time, give you free farm advisory services for free. That comes as a value addition to the policies you have. We monitor crop birds, we monitor the birds, we monitor your cattle. We'll let you know what you need to do to ensure that you get the production right and you don't suffer much losses. And these services are for free. You don't pay a dime. They only come up as a rider. It's just like when you buy when you go to Cold Stone, ask for ice cream, and you ask for toppings. But Cold Stone toppings is at a cost. But these other ones for Agric insurance are for free. You don't need to pay. It's just a value addition for you for buying those policies. Yeah. So by and large, those are the advantages, and there are so many other. Those are the advantages that.
Okay, a small scale farmer also does a small scale farmer has should I say their own sizable policy that they can.
You see again between me and you, 70% of anything we produce in this country, especially as it relates to the crop subsector, is done by smallholder farmers. And Leadway's portfolio of clients, 80% of them consist of smallholder farmers. So what I'm trying to say is that there are policies for smallholder farmers, even tailor-made bespoke solutions that is for smallholder farmers.
Okay, so looking at I want you to tie each of these policies to an amount. So maybe you should just mention a few of these policies and how to go about it.
Now, if you want to, I will equally again relate to you. If you want to buy, let me take poultry, or let me take an example of crops now.
Okay.
I'll just break it down into granular details for you. You want to engage in maybe you want to do about 20 hectares of maize somewhere in Nasarawa State. You approach us, you let us know your intention. We give you a simple form. Those forms ask simple questions concerning the project to complete. Do you understand? Then you give us the value of the farm per hectare. Now, there are two ways for crops. It's either there are two kinds of policies that we do. It's either you do an area yield policy or you do what you call the multiple peril crops insurance policy. What is the difference? The multiple peril crop insurance policy, compensation based on the input cost. That is the amount you have to spend on the farm up to the time there is a flood or there is an event that causes loss or damage. The yield insurance policy compensates on the basis of the output. That is expected yield and the value that you will have sold it if you have gone ahead to the farm, and if you have gone ahead to the market to sell. So those are the two categories. So after that, we ask for your cost of production per hectare of those farms multiplied by the 20 hectares that you are doing. Now, let's assume hypothetically it is 1,000 naira per hectare multiplied by 20. That's about 20 million. The 20 million naira now transmits to the exposure of the insurance company. So it simply means that if anything happens to that particular farm, you're expected to recover almost 20 million. So at every stage where it occurs, we measure the loss and go ahead and pay you compensation. Now, what premium are you paying? Because when you are doing insurance, that's what we call premium. Premium is the price that you pay for getting cover from the insurance company. For crops, it starts from 3%. So it simply means that the farmer will pay 3% of the 20 million as premium to Agric. You see, and that is a very significant amount compared to the risks of 20 million. So it simply means that if a loss occurs, you are paid, what is 3% of 20 million? You can do the numbers later. 3% of 20 million, and you are now getting a cover for 20 million. So that's how it works across the various. If it is the yield, it is the value of the yield at farm grade price or at market price that form the basis of the compensation in that instance. And by and large, the policy that we have in Nigeria, are judged by international experts as one of the best anywhere in the world. Why? Because the policies cover various kinds of natural events that are beyond the control of the farmer in one policy. So, for instance, the normal crop policy, either for yield or for the multiple peril that I've mentioned, covers fire, lightning, windstorm damage, flood, pest and diseases, even frost. Any natural occurring event that affects the farm is covered under that policy, and for a premium rate of 3%. That is the cheapest you can get anywhere in the world. In other crimes, depending on the frequency of the occurrence of that particular event, they will isolate each of those peril and price it for you. So if you are paying, if you want a flood cover, you can get, they will say 3% for flood cover. If you want a perils, if you want a pest and disease infestation cover, they can say 2%, and so on and so forth. In that order. Here you see, so you can see why it is I see why it is said to be the cheapest anywhere in the world. So that is how it works. So, and like I mentioned, the policies are not meant for big time farmers alone, because again we know that even it is the smallholder farmers that are more exposed to this aspect of climate change, global warming, dry spells, and so on as flooding. You can see there is flood alert again this year. Last year we paid so many claims of flood for farmers that were affected by flood. So it's usually very, very important that farmers who especially are doing production value chain should take. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, before they go ahead and buy seeds, before they buy puts and so much and so forth, they need to have taken out an insurance policy. Because at the end of the day, if you put labor, you buy the seeds, you apply fertilizer, and there is flood, it just means it's going to wipe off your entire investment. And if you don't have a backup in terms of insurance as a mitigant, it means you have suffered a loss. That will not be recovered, or that cannot be recovered.
Okay, so I was coming to the fact that our farmers who already have done, they didn't think to insure their farms before the acquiring of the land and getting their crops and the rest of it and animals. How do they key in as regards getting whatever it is they've had on the ground insured?
It's simple. Okay. If you are already a farmer that is already in existence, it's fine. All you need to do is to approach us. Let us know that you want to buy insurance. They are not for startups alone. The policies are not meant for startups alone. They are meant for everybody. Either you are an existing farmer or a startup farmer. So irrespective of at whatever stage you are in that particular business or investment in the business of Agric, you just call us, get in touch with us as an insurance company. Then we'll go ahead and engage you and see how we can onboard you so that you can subscribe to the various insurance policies.
Okay, so you've talked about Nigeria being one of the lowest, let's say, pay as
in terms of premiums. Yeah.
Yes, in premium service. Are there policies in ensuring that on the part of the insurance companies too? Are there policies on ground, or is there any? I wouldn't call it an agitation. Is there anything you guys are looking for in ensuring that these policies that governs this sector is being, stepped up?
Policies, is it in terms of premiums?
No,
I'm not too sure.
In terms
or in terms of payment when there is a claim?
Yes.
Well, the thing there is that, insurance is a contract. Pretty simple.
Okay.
And when you enter into a contract, there are terms and obligations on the parties to that contract. That is one. So if I say, Madam, I'm insuring your poultry farm for an exposure of 10 million naira, let's go back to the poultry farm, and you pay me 30% of that value as premium. You simply mean consideration has taken place. A contract has been formulated. I didn't force you. There was consensus at the time. There was an agreement that Lead Insurance Company Limited, as a responsible insurance company, get this premium, cover me for this amount. So it simply means that when a claim occurs, I'm under a contractual obligation to pay you the 10 million. It's simple. So it's an honorable agreement. So there is no way, if the losses you suffer on your farm is attributable to the peril that is insured in the policy, I don't have a choice than to pay you. Okay. So for Leadway actually pride itself as one of the biggest payers of claims without any. You don't need to know anybody. All we need to do is to ensure that due diligence has been done, and you are not making a false claim, and you have complied with the policy terms and conditions, because there are policy terms and conditions. Because I'll give you an example. As a poultry farmer too, even though you have taken insurance, you have a duty of ensuring that you do everything necessary to ensure that the birds don't die. First and foremost, you need to feed them properly. You need to ensure proper biosecurity on your farm. You need to give them proper vaccination and all that. It is only after you have done all those things as an obligation on your part, then a disease occur and there's an outbreak. Do you understand that the policy will pay? But if at any particular period now we find out that some of those things you didn't comply with them.
So how do you know?
Yeah, we will know because equally we monitor and we have your farm records. If you are, that's one of those things insurance does, so you must keep proper farm records. You must do farm records of vaccination, farm records of feeding. There's a template for farm records. So there's real-time monitoring of that particular farm, and our veterinary doctors go to the farm and pay visits to ensure that the stock they have insured and doing well, and you as the farmer too, you are being expected, you are even supposed to give all the certificate of health of the birds from a veterinary doctor, because it's the standard. If you are keeping those birds, you must equally have a veterinary doctor on standby to look at those birds, or a veterinary health consultant, as the case may be. We have seen situations where poultry farmers who have no knowledge of veterinary medicine decide to go ahead and inject their birds or give them vaccine. It is wrong. Just because of the fact that they are trying to cut costs, it is wrong. It must be done by a qualified veterinary professional. So after all that has been done, and there's a claim, of course, the insurance company is under contract obligation. And you know what the contract means? Simply means that it is an agreement that is enforceable at law. So if at the end of the day, the insurance company now originate and refuse to pay, of course, you can revert to the court. But again, even before that, there is an insurance regulator, National Insurance Commission, that guides the conduct of insurance companies in Nigeria. So all you need to do is that there is a clause in the policy. They will go ahead and arbitrate. You can make a report, a complaint to NICOM before it goes to court. NICOM will, at the end of the day, if you have a genuine case, will virtually force the insurance company to pay, whether they like it or not. Because if they don't do that, they stand the risk of losing their underwriting license as an insurance company. Because we know that one of the major challenges with insurance in this country is there are trust issues. Yeah. Sure, you understand concerning insurance that when a claim occurs, they don't pay. But the dynamics have changed now. Every insurance company is alive to its responsibility, including Leadway, which prides itself as the foremost insurance company in this country. You understand? And of course, you have the regulator, who is equally like our bodyguards, ensuring that the clients are not shortchanged and that the policy was sold when they do crystallize. Claims are paid in line with the terms and conditions of the policy.
Okay, so you told us about how you know when this, for example, you use the birds as an example. What if it's crop? How do you ascertain?
Crop is even too easy these days because you use, with numbers. It's difficult going from smallholder farms to farmholder farms. These days we use remote sensing technology, artificial intelligence. We deploy drones, high-capacity drones to monitor the farms. Do you understand? We do that all the time. So for crops, it's even more easy to monitor than even the poultry. We equally have agronomists, plant scientists who go to the field to do on-the-site monitoring. But again, technology has aided a lot of things. These days, we can sit in the comfort of our office. I can deploy my FinSense technology or remote sensing, artificial intelligence, satellite imagery to monitor crop health, to see the performance of the crop of the field, to see whether the farmers are doing the right thing. So those are the tools that we use these days in ensuring monitoring, because we find out that the small-scale farmers are in volumes, and it's not going to be, it doesn't make any economic sense to see you now be paying visits. Although at times we conduct what you call random sampling visits to each of those farms. Do you understand? Random sampling visits to each of them, especially when they are a little bit commercial in nature. Because another thing we equally observe is that farmers like insurance to come and see their farms. There is a pride and joy in them. And Leadway equally pride itself in that, because for us, it's a learning curve. We learn from some other farmers. And there is no two farm risk that is the same. Whenever I go to your farm, the experiences I learn from your farm will be different from what you learn in my own farm. Because Do you understand? So, and that becomes special learnings for us, a special thing that we take in by ourselves. And
Okay, that's nice. Thank you for having it. Before we go, your last word for farmers who are yet to key into, any insurance cover.
it is better for them to get their investment protected and have peace of mind. Especially like I mentioned during the beginning of this conversation, it's you take a look at climate change, you take a look at global warming, you take a look at those risks, pests and diseases. The other time there was the issue of koala beds all over. There was a time it was grasshoppers, you have pest infestations, you have all that. All those things are now things that we are finding difficult to manage, despite the fact that there have been medicine or equipment or methods that they need to be cutting. But again, when they are natural in nature, you can't. You see flooding all over. There was flood alert on how many states now, and they were federal government even advising that they evacuate because of the floods that are coming. So you see, all these are issues that farmers need to take in consideration and make it a sign for another. That means maybe compulsory that they take up some of these insurance policies. And like I mentioned, if you have various, even if you feel that the policy we have is not adequate for you, we sit you down. We can develop bespoke insurance solutions. The policy that we have are not sacrosanct, they are not cast in stone. We can tailor-made that particular policy to meet your expectation, and we will sit down and engage with each other on it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for having me too.
We've heard it from the horse's mouth here at Leadway House, where we've been speaking to Mr. Ayola Fatono, who is the head regional technical services, agriculture and micro scheme specialist, and we've been talking about insurance cover for all kind of farms. Thank you for joining us on the program on this week on Agric Today. Join us again, same time, same station next week. I am Khadija Oluwatoyin. Gotcha.